Hey everybody, my name is Jared and I am a Master Mason in the state of Mississippi in the United States of America. And today we have a great viewer question. The question is, what sort of charitable giving does your lodge do? Well, I think that's a great question because while I can speak about what my lodge does, it is astronomical to really start thinking about how much charitable work, whether that's monetary donation, labor that's involved, donation of time and skill throughout the world that Freemasons do with very little pomp and circumstance, if you will. They don't seek after the recognition that they're providing what they really do, which I think says a lot about Freemasonry as an organization. So the question was asked and we're going to answer it. So hopefully it doesn't come across wrong about me putting out our charitable efforts as any sort of attempt to receive any sort of praise or even recognition for those efforts. These are things that Freemasons do just as a matter of course because we believe in our hearts it's the right thing to do. So in my lodge, at the beginning of every lodge meeting, there are two jars that are set out. One is marked as the discretionary fund, and the other is marked for Shriners Hospital for Children. The discretionary fund is what we use as exactly what it says, at the discretion of the master in the lodge to provide relief for a brother, a family, a widow, or whatever the case may be. We've used those funds to help members of the lodge. We've used them to help friends of members of the lodge, people who a member of the lodge came to us and said, hey, I know they're not a Mason, but their house burned down and they could use a little bit of help. Can the lodge make a donation? And we'll use those funds to do that. So in a way, that's charitable work. We set the money aside in a fund to be used, but it's not earmarked for any particular charity. It may as well be used for discretionary spending throughout the lodge. So it's not wholly for relief, but it is there if needed. The other jar, Shriners Hospitals for Children, is probably something many people have heard about before. So let me see if I can make technology work with me here and show you something. So here is the website for Shriners Hospitals for Children, and you can go and learn a lot more about them. Suffice to say, the general idea behind Shriners Hospitals is not only to provide a place where there are doctors with a high level of expertise and skill who know how to work well with children, but also that should a family be unable to pay for care, should the family be unable to pay for travel to the hospital, should the family be unable to pay for their lodging while their child is being treated, all of those things are covered 100%, no payment required, and it's covered from the donations that Freemasons and other organizations make to Shriners Hospitals for Children. So that is perhaps one of the most notable charities that are out there, but there are without a doubt dozens and dozens of others. But the question was specifically, what does my lodge do? Well, we've done several different things throughout the course of many years. Before we did Shriners Hospital for Children, we were donating to the Wounded Warrior Fund. And then we learned that while Wounded Warriors was in fact helping wounded warriors and making a substantial difference in the lives of disabled veterans, we learned that a vast majority of the money was being held up in the administrative side of things. And we wanted to see more bang for our buck, so to speak. We wanted to make sure that if we donated $1, that as much of that as possible was going to somebody in need. So we made the switch from that second jar that I mentioned being the Wounded Warrior Fund to being Shriners Hospitals for Children. So members of the lodge donate to that on a weekly basis, and at the end of the year we take the money, add it all up, and send a check over to the hospitals. We have also done smaller donations, things to the local 4-H program, and several others. I think I couldn't possibly, off the top of my head, remember for you the different local organizations where we've donated money. Sometimes that's accomplished by us just buying an ad, like a yearbook. They like to raise money for yearbooks, and we'll buy an ad spot and we'll do something simple. We'll just put, congratulations graduates, and put the square and compasses there and leave it at that, and help them by the money that they raised for us taking out that ad, so to speak. So there's a lot of different ways that we've done that. But I think perhaps the one that stands out the most to me is that here locally, and I believe that there are national campaigns that go along with this as well, but there's a campaign called Coats for Kids. Now I have to give credit where credit is due. We were first approached by our sister lodge, Andrew Chapel Lodge, and they were interested in doing a joint effort where both of our lodges would make a large donation towards this Coats for Kids program. And we wanted to do it in a way where we could provide as much coats as possible to these kids. We didn't want to just donate money, we wanted to donate physical coats, and we wanted to spread the word about Masonry. We wanted to make sure that people knew that Masonry was a part of the community and that we were trying to help make a difference. So the Coats for Kids program is hosted, if you will, by our local news agency. So when we went there to make the donation, we told them, look, we've got a sizable donation we'd like to make. Is this something you all would want to cover? Rather than us just sneak in the door, leave several boxes of coats and sneak back out. And sure enough, they were interested in covering it. So I'm going to show you the video that they took of that donation, and then I want to talk to you about it afterwards. So let's see here. Let's bring that forward.
A huge donation was made to our annual Coats for Kids campaign.
Yep, chapter members of Andrew Chapter Lodge and Long Creek Lodge stopped by the station this morning, drop off roughly 60 coats for our Coats for Kids campaign. Chapter member Billy Jones says to be able to give to charity during this time of year when so many go without is a blessing.
To give back and make somebody a little bit warmer this year, especially with the problem with the homeless that we have in this area, it feels good.
If you'd like to donate, you can drop off a new or gently used coat here at the station or at Meridian Mutual Federal Credit Union, the Golden Spikes Athletic Club, or Newton and Dahlberry and Butler. The coats will be distributed by the Wesley House.
So as far as a charitable effort goes, we were told by the news agency later that was the largest single donation that they received. So that makes us feel good that we knew we made a large impact. But I think on the other hand, you have to think about what other impact was made with that. Is it possible that we affected two different things at one time? And I think we did. Any Freemason that was watching that probably picked up on a couple different issues. The news agency wasn't familiar with Masonic lodges and the ones that are in the area, and some mistakes were made. For example, that lodge that the brother that was speaking in the video, he was the worshipful master of Andrew Chapel Lodge. The lodge is directly across the street from a church called Andrew Chapel. There is a non-incorporated community in our county called Long Creek, which is why I presume that instead of saying that Long Street Lodge was a part of this donation, it was reported that Long Creek Lodge was a part of the donation, and there is no such Long Creek Lodge. So I think that on one hand, while we are helping by providing the coats that were being requested to be raised. We're also getting an awareness out to the community that these Masonic lodges are not just buildings that sit out there and every once in a while they happen to see a car or two outside, but that the men that do meet in there are actually trying to effect some sort of a change out in the community. And then maybe next time when the report comes out, they'll be able to say the name of the lodge right, and people will understand who exactly it is that's doing the work. So this has been something we have done for the last couple years. We started, that was in 2014 that they did the video, and then last year, if I bring this back up, you can see this is where the article is on their website, just a little blurb about what happened. You can see they were kind enough to come back in here and edit the text. Of course, video once it's shot is pretty much there, and they fixed the text here for my lodge. And then in 2015 we got another little note here about our donation to the Coats for Kids campaign. So that is what my lodge has been doing for charitable donations, and I'm curious to hear what it is that your lodges are doing. Do you have something that you do on an annual basis that the community is familiar with you being a part of? Is there something that you do on an annual basis that's low-key and you do it, but perhaps there's no recognition involved, and that's perfectly fine? Or is it instead that your lodge just responds to the request, that you sit back and wait for there to be a need, and once that need is identified, then you donate to the charity or to the incident that needs to be helped? So let me know how it is done in your area, and I think if we can share these kind of stories, that we can take ideas from each other and make the situation better in each of our own local jurisdictions. So thank you very much for the question. I hope that gives you the information that you're looking for. We'll see you next time.